So, hello everyone, welcome to the Bells Training Podcast. Scott just said before we got this video recording that our posture is pretty terrible.
Our?
Oh, mine?
Don't take me with
Did
the
you,
brush.
did you say mine?
I said your posture is
Oh yeah, well I
literally, I think last week you spent the entire time like this. and I was watching it, I just realised that I'm very fidgety and very aware of my posture, but you're not.
If you don't know, if you're listening to the podcast and you don't know already, we do this on video as well. So that's hence why we're focusing on posture.
So you can see me
Standing up. So, well, if
twiddling my beard.
If you've been on the Beowulf Pack this week, James actually talked about sitting posture a little bit, didn't he?
He had an amazing postural position at one point.
Bit of pelvic control, and then pinning the shoulders back as a general thing. So if you see me doing that, if you're watching the video, that's what we're doing. See, I'm already leaning into it. It's the microphone.
No, it's not.
Anyway,
Gravity.
today we're going to be talking about motivation. So this kind of came up earlier in the week. Slightly different perspective on motivation. You know, would you consider motivation a good, positive thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it has its shortcomings? Do you think it's always good?
What do you mean? Sorry.
I'm just trying to kind of get your opinion on it. 'Cause I think to put it
So
in my own sense.
you're kind of talking about, does motivation always have to come from positive things? Because, for example, motivation can sometimes be something like fear from failure, so it can come from a negative source as opposed to a positive.
Or is it something that you seek? Are you always passionately looking to find motivation or searching for motivation?
No.
When you feel, you've had quite a lot of struggles trying to get back into the rhythm of things and get consistency with your workouts. Where does motivation fall with that?
Yes, I suppose being low in motivation has definitely been a common theme for me recently, and trying to find different ways that can make me more motivated and more driven to kind of get the ball rolling and stuff.
Do you notice it in your clients, like the motivated clients and the low motivated clients?
Yeah, I think I've got to be honest with you. I think a lot of the people that we work with in general, I work with, they're normal people, so their motivation levels are going to fluctuate like they do. I don't have anyone who comes in boom, let's go, consistently attacking life and nailing everything. I don't know anyone. Any clients that I train or anyone day to day, I don't know anyone who doesn't have lower days. And I actually had a conversation with my client today that, it's not necessarily about how you feel when you come into the gym. It's, acknowledging that you're having a little bit of a low day and then just trying to feel like you leave in a better place than you came in. And often that motivation comes from me as an external source when they're having a low day. The thing that I struggle with a lot of the time in our job, and unless you're a personal trainer or a coach, you probably won't understand this, but a lot of our job can be that we put a lot of our own life energy and our own life force into our clients and our members and the people we work with, and particularly those that are having low days. I'm not saying they sap your energy, but you've got a pool of it. You've got a pool of it that you might start the day. You've got a pool of motivation, a pool of positive energy. You've got to keep a bit for yourself. A lot of the time, that's dispersed into other people, be that staff members, one-to-one clients, group training clients. If I'm doing a 16-hour day, I get to the end of the day and I'm absolutely wiped, physically and emotionally, because of that reason, where I am the motivational source for a lot of people throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that I've struggled with over time, and I suppose over the last kind of 6-month period really, is the fact that, I have a weekend off, I then start Monday highly motivated, I'm going to smash my week, I've planned my week, I've done everything to the point where I would teach and instruct a client, and I get to the point when I'm halfway through the week and I'm absolutely wiped because I've had other things, other external factors that have come into play that have sapped my life energy. That's the thing that I struggle with in terms of motivation now. I'm generally pretty good Monday through Wednesday to Thursday, and then it's struggling in that kind of time to the week where I feel like
Is that also like as you get, if you're training and stuff, as you get achier and
You get a bit sore, yeah, definitely. Like for example today, so I did a session Olympic weightlifting on Monday, and then did like a team workout with the group training staff at UMA. And you know, yesterday I did some active stuff, but again it wasn't a structured session. I kind of just moved. Today I woke up and I was so sore, like hamstring sore to the touch, glute sore. And you know, I'd always reserved kind of the HIIT class on my Wednesday morning as a block of time of which I dedicate either to the class or to training, and I will never book over that. It's one of the things I've been trying to do to make sure that I stick to plan throughout the week. Cool. This morning I looked at the programme and it was like dumbbell snatches, dumbbell clean and jerks, deadlifts were in there, American kettlebell swings, like shit tons of posterior work with really sore hamstrings, and I was like, also been trying to work on managing niggles, and my normal mental attitude would have been, oh fuck it, just crack on and get it done. Whereas then my other side of my mind was like, yeah, dude, going in there and trying to shift a 22.5 kilo dumbbell 40 seconds a time, 3 rounds is probably not going to be the best for your hamstrings today. But then the other side was like, well, you know, if you don't do this, you potentially won't get enough time to train. So I've got this consistent battle in my head.
yeah.
I ended up doing it because I put the time aside, acknowledging that if I didn't do it at that time, I probably wouldn't have done it throughout the week. Throughout the rest of the day, I would have regretted it. And I just decided that I was going to modify and scale down the movements so the loading was less, control the tempo and the velocity of the movements. So I still moved, I got something done, I stuck to plan, stayed motivated to try and do something tomorrow. So yeah.
That's interesting, yeah. So yeah, it was the circumstance you create for yourself that kind of carried you through when motivation was low.
Yeah, and I also had I was standing there looking at the workout, and I had the coach, so Jack, a couple of our kind of consistent members also kind of saying, "Are you going to train?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'm a bit sore." Oh, yeah, cool. Just move, just get involved. So also like where we are the motivators for a lot of our clients, I've always believed in surrounding yourself with like-minded people. In the gym environment generally we have here, we have a lot of people you can bounce off, and if you're having a low day, there's going to be another 10 people in the facility at the same time that are going to be having a good day, and they're going to bring you up to their level. So
we're glad you did it.
Yeah, I am, because again I would have been sitting here today going, I had the opportunity to train and I passed it up because I had sore hamstrings, and I would have been like, I could have done it, I just decided not to. But I had a low motivation time, didn't feel up for it, but because I was in the right environment and I facilitated my diary to have that time, and also acknowledging that I had a very busy day upcoming, not finishing until 10, it's like, well, this is my own opportunity. Do I want to train or do I not? So I took the opportunity, which means that now I'm a lot more positive in my approach to training over the next couple of days, which is...
It's important as well that we stress that Scott's talking about his muscles are sore, they're not injured. Because if you get the kind of, when you train and you break down your muscle tissue, you get this DOMS effect, delayed onset muscle soreness, where 24 to 48 hours after the session,
muscular trauma, your body's still recovering basically.
And over a while, people kind of adapt to it and they don't feel it as much and things like that. And then you have one of those sessions that pushes you over your threshold, you feel it again. That, like, it's okay to train with muscle soreness like that.
Just got to be mindful, like I was, in terms of how you moderate the session.
Yeah, and appreciate that you might not get your maximum output for what you put in out of it. Like, but you're not doing anything that's particularly unsafe. With that, depending on the person, depending on what they're doing. But it's muscle soreness is usually a real thing that depletes motivation. And the post that we did earlier in the week was kind of saying, motivation's great, and I kind of said it's like your really fun mate that's really flaky. When motivation's there, it's awesome, you're having a great time, but it will bugger off with little to no notice. It's there one day, next day it's gone.
It's fleeting. It's not consistent, is it?
Yeah, and then what I think is a better skill that you can actually train and you can work on is your discipline. To then pick up the pieces when motivation's buggered off. So discipline is the mate that's there to pick you up where motivation left you stranded. It's the guy that shows up.
Did you come up with that?
I came up with that.
Bollocks. Really?
No, I did. I came up with that on Monday, that's what I did. I mean, like, there's a guy that I follow a lot called Jocko Willing, who has his whole mantra is discipline equals freedom. If you're really well disciplined, then it will take you anywhere you want to go, kind of thing. And I fundamentally believe that. I think it makes complete logical sense. You know, it's that when motivation is low, motivation will be low, as you've said. You've never met anyone that is that 100% all the time. I've never witnessed it. I've had periods in my life where I'm more motivated than others and things like that. But discipline is the thing that gets you to do what you don't want to do because you need to do it. So you just explained a perfect example of that. It's like, I want to work out, I need to work out, I don't feel like working out, I'm going to do it anyway. And it's great if you've got the people, a support network to help you do that along. But that's a skill that's under your control. You know, how can you encourage discipline, make yourself more disciplined? It might be that you wake up when your alarm goes off and you start the day with like a jolt of discipline. It might be that you say, I'm not going to eat this food at this time anymore. You know, I'm going to be able to watch the rugby and not have a beer. I'm going to do that and like test yourself. Get out of.
Who would do that?
Well, I wouldn't do that one particularly.
Going to the Six Nations.
But like
sacrilege.
Exercising your ability to do things that you don't want to do right then. You know, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. You know, I'm not saying go insane with it, go bizarre, but that's where it is. And in that regard, I would say discipline's far more powerful than motivation. When motivation's there and you are motivated, that's when you go all in. You know, like everyone has those training sessions where you're just like, I don't know if like the food I ate was right, my mood's good, everything, like the weights feel lighter. When you know that and you are really motivated, then capitalise on it. That's when you put on, right, I'm going to try a little bit of extra weight, I'm going to go that little bit harder, I'm going to go that much faster. Capitalise on it, beat your goals. And then when it's not there, you're not broken, there's nothing wrong with you, you're just being a normal human being. Don't beat yourself up like, I cannot be asked to train. Don't voice it, do it anyway. Have a go. And I think if more people could kind of exercise that and not kind of be on this pursuit of motivation. You know, you can go on YouTube and search for like motivational quotes and stuff like that. And I don't believe that they
coming from people that obviously are just 100% motivated all the time.
Yeah, well, there's nothing worse. The thing that really irritates me recently is the Instagrams and thing of like, you know, someone's got their Ferrari and they've put the picture of their Ferrari up and they're like, you can achieve anything if you set your dreams to it. And they show off under the facade of motivation. I'm trying to motivate you. That's why I'm shirtless. You know, I'm trying to motivate the people that follow me. No, that's not what you're trying to do.
You're just showing off.
Yeah, like, you've got a Ferrari, cool, I don't care. I do not care. Like, little thing, like, that's not, who looks at that and goes, you know what, I'm going to get working now. If that's how loosely you are attached to your goal, that a picture of a Ferrari or a big house influences you to work harder, then there's a more fundamental problem. It's that you're ill-disciplined. You're not, you know, you're not working hard. And if you get cut to the core of it, that's it. And it sounds quite harsh.
No, that's true.
But I don't think I've ever met anyone that's really like, God, this guy's got a big house, I've got to sort my shit out. But like, what?
No.
What are you doing? Yeah, like, there's also people that work their asses off that have nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things that if we kind of maybe perhaps stray away from motivation and relying on motivation, we'll do ourselves so much better. And we actually focus on the factors that we can directly control. You might be able to stimulate motivation by listening to some music or things like that, but it's not going to be huge and profound like those sessions where it's amazing and everything feels lighter. You think about like when you did when you were competing pole vault.
Yeah.
And I've never competed to this standard or this level with this many people, but when you've got people watching you and in some cases like cameras on you, I'm pretty sure that amps you up and it gives you that extra little bit of push and that pressure or whatever, and certain people thrive under that.
Yeah, the difficult thing with our event, in terms of sometimes increases increases in motivation or kind of drive within a competition environment, particularly our event, is actually detrimental to performance, because it's all about
nerves and
it's all about controlling your approach, so controlled speed, making sure that you're consistent at takeoff.
Right. Okay.
So if I've got a crowd, for me personally, I never get a crowd clap. I never do that, because nine times out of 10, crowds don't maintain the tempo of your approach.
No. Yeah.
So then what happens is you start your first 6 steps, and you start your first 6 steps too fast. So that means you feel like you're free running like road runner coming into the takeoff, but then too close at takeoff, it screws the entire jump. As opposed to trying to control your environment, being disciplined in your approach to the event.
But
So that thing for me, like that actually, what would motivate some people in other sports, for a lot of people in our event. Like some people I know, like some vaulters, they'll get a crowd clap and they'll take their run up back, like a pigeon step and like a step and a half, knowing that with that increase in adrenaline, they're buzzing, they've got the crowd behind them, they know they're going to run harder, so therefore they accommodate that in terms of the takeoff.
And you can't recreate that in the gym.
I'm going to go up poles, I'm going to go big, I'm going to go big. For me it's never worked.
You can't recreate that like drama and that pressure around
in an empty track.
In an empty track when you're training, so it's a silly thing to rely on. You know, you'd never train like, but with the extra kind of 5% I'll get from the crowd, I'll be fine. You know, like you see like boxers and stuff when they walk out to their music and they're in the zone and things like that. You know, you can't replicate that in the gym. It's unreasonable to kind of want to do it. And that's quite interesting. It's another way at looking at like being disciplined even when, you know, getting giddy.
It's controlling your environment.
And I think when you get on a path and you look at trying to have more discipline in your life and things like that, that's kind of weirdly motivating. You know, you start one thing and you don't want to kind of go off the wagon so much. And it's not that, you know, you've got to set realistic constraints on yourself. You don't want to be like, I'm going to get up at 4:30 every morning. I'm going to go for a 2-mile run. Then I'm going to get changed, go to work. I'm going to be bosh. You know, if you set that as your like base level of discipline, it's unsustainable for a lot of people. You know, you've got to add it in one by one. It might be, I'm going to train. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it no matter what. Even if I've got a cold, even if I have twisted my ankle, you know, and hurt my toe or things like that. It's not the time for those excuses. You find ways around it. You know, sometimes you might have to adapt and overcome it. But yeah, if anyone listens to this kind of wanting some takeaway, experience it. Don't rely on motivation, because it will bugger off.
Do you use your example earlier as a closing statement? So what is motivation and what is...
So motivation is your really fun but flaky, unreliable friend, and then discipline is the guy that kind of picks you up when you're left stranded. He's the guy that wants the best for you, that will give you the home truths and go, dude, you've been an asshole. Sort it out. He's that guy. Everyone knows those people in their life.
Exercise, discipline.
Spend more time hanging out with discipline and establishing that relationship with him.
And if motivation comes along,
sure,
go for the ride.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah, that's it. And you know that no matter how far, we're really going deep into this analogy. No matter how far motivation takes you away from, you know, takes you, the better relationship you have with discipline, the more likely he is to show up and help you back. There we go. Clumsy analogies from Beowulf Training. And thanks very much, Scott. We'll see you next week. I've got some ideas for what we'll do next week, but we'll discuss that off camera. Cool,
man.
Thanks very much, guys.
See you next week.
Cheers. How's my posture? Is it bad?
I wasn't really looking.